Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is How to Develop Initiative and was delivered in Hollywood, California on December 4th, 1955.
How to develop initiative. Coming down this morning, we were talking about various things in Encinitas. One thing was the stand up there, the vegetable stand. One of the disciples said, she says, I just make them want those tomatoes and buy them, and onions and other such things. That's initiative. So in finding God, we should make it easy for God to buy. In other words, to want to buy our love, if we can put it that way. We must have initiative, especially in finding God, which is the paramount reason for this discussion, although we will discuss initiative under other categories except religion. First, what is initiative? A few definitions which I have looked up. First is a first move. You've got to have the initiative to make the first move. Another thing is self-reliant enterprise. Initiative means a self-reliant enterprise. Another definition, the ability of independent action. If you go along just being an automaton, there's not much initiative there, although you do have to use a little to move around. But to use independent action means using your initiative. To use action governed by soul consciousness. And finally, it takes initiative to get out of the rut of ordinary living. So with those few things in mind, let us say a few things about the cardinal requirements of initiative, the ABC, so to speak, of initiative. What are they? Well, the first thing is that initiative means that truth must be the impetus. Truth must be the impetus in your initiative. If you know God is with you, and you have the truth, that's the first requirement. Because knowing He is with you, it's not too difficult to have initiative. So truth, or as it says, right according to divine law. And that divine law is that God is in us. And so that's the first cardinal requisite of initiative. The second is faith. Faith, not ordinary belief. Strong belief is good, but faith is better. Because through faith, which means without breath, I will not go into a metaphysical discussion, but when we have faith, we're above outward consciousness. And we're in the realm of intuition where we can feel the presence of God. Having that, we attain great calmness. And then with that calmness, we can receive intuitional guidance, which is so important in taking the initiative. You do not want to take the initiative if your guidance is wrong, do you? No. So that's a very important point. A cardinal requirement is to have faith that you receive the right guidance. We say, Father, guide my action, lead me to do the right thing. I will reason, but guide thou. How can you receive God's guidance unless you have that state of faith or calmness within? Having that, then He can guide you. So the second cardinal requisite or requirement is faith. And another thing, when you have faith, your will, instead of being just the ego-guided will, is God's will in you. Is wisdom-guided will. Think what initiative you can take if you feel not this little circumscribed will of the ego, but God's will in you. That comes with contact with God through faith. And so, having a strong will comes with faith. Faith is the second of the cardinal requirements for initiative. And the third is action. action. We can have initiative in our mind and imagination, lots of it, but we have to bring it out of that realm into the realm of the realization of it empirically. We have to bring it outside into worldly life, into religious life, into all sorts of life. So there you have the three cardinal requirements to use your initiative. Remember them. First, truth must be the impetus. That is, you cannot afford to get off on the wrong foot, so to speak. You must have the initiative because truth is the impetus. God is with you is the greatest example. That's sufficient truth for you to go ahead in a religious way and use your initiative to find God and bring Him into your daily life. The second is faith, because faith takes you into the breathless state where you contact not your intellect, senses, or mind, but the intuition of God in you. Don't you think you'll be guided correctly? And the third is action. Do something about it. Get the lethargy out of you. As the Master says, I don't like indifferent yogis. We must be active yogis. And so if you remember those three things, it'll help you, it'll help us all in using our initiative. Now going ahead with the different examples of initiative, the first, as I have said, is taking the first move. That required great initiative. Take the first move, let us think.